going on? Thanks for joining the show here. We have an amazing guest today, Genira Nurse. She's amazing. She's going to talk about her stories. If you have any questions or concerns or any live questions, feel free to ask them already. We will answer all the questions at the end. By the way, feel free to add her on all the socials. I did put everything all on the bottom for Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, you name it, everything's in there. But let's introduce my amazing guest, Genira Nurse. What's up?
Hey, Richard, what's up?
Good. How about you? How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Having a good time, having fun. Today was my first day at the job, so I'm excited.
First days. Tell us about it. What'd you do? How was it?
It was just like an introductory day. It was pretty laid back. What did I do? I met with the team. It's pretty small, about like 9 people. Everyone's really nice, welcoming. What else did I do? Talked to HR for a little bit, went over benefits, IT, making sure like all my logins and everything work. So it was just a standard intro day, nothing too crazy.
How's life changed so far for you since, transitioning into sales? You were doing door-to-door sales, which is all right. I done sales, but that's a different level. So how's life changed for you since then?
Life's like done a complete 180 for me, like going door to door, like working outside 5 to 6 hours, like constantly knocking on people's doors. It's a lot. It's definitely a grind, rain or shine. But now I get to work from the comfort of my home and then in an office. So excited I'm just so excited. So grateful for like the transition. Like
so are you in a hybrid model then?
Yes, I'm hybrid.
Okay. Is it like 2 days there or 3 days there? How?
2 days in office.
Gotcha. That's awesome. Do you, I mean, that could be like a pros and cons. Like the pros is, especially if you're a person that learns when you're in person, right? You know how there's 3 different types of learning for each person. And if you're a hands-on learner, which I'm kind of like that the same way, you might be able to grow and learn way faster than you would do it. You would do it like just through remotely. Because sometimes you have a question, you're like, hey, at least you turn to the person on the side, That's so awesome. So, well, tell us a little bit more about yourself. I know we mentioned the door-to-door. What were you doing even before the door-to-door? Like, what's your background?
Yeah, so I have a background in just miscellaneous. I graduated in 2020. Had the whole virtual ceremony. I felt stuck. I'll be real. Like, I didn't know what was next for me. Had like in the area I live in, like they didn't really offer many careers that catered to the degree I got. So It just seemed like either the only 2 options were to like either just find a job or go back to school. So
that's tough.
So I decided to start working. I was a contact tracer during like lockdown. So if you did test positive for COVID within the county that I live in, you might have gotten a call from me and interviewed them on their symptoms and stuff like that. Then I worked as a bookkeeper for a few months at a small electric company. Got that through like a temp agency. Like I said, my background's just very like it's very sporadic and scattered. And then prior to working door to door, I was actually in the casino industry because I live fairly close to Atlantic City. I was working as an online dealer, playing blackjack all day. It sounds more fun than it is. Definitely didn't want to be there for too long, which is why when the opportunity to do door-to-door sales like came up, I delved right into it.
So what got you since your background's so different, and which the good thing is like you having that type of background gives hope for so many people, right? To transition. So, how did you get into like what made you get into tech sales or just sales in general before we went into tech sales?
So for me, I actually wanted to I wanted to go back to school to get a cybersecurity degree because I was just interested in getting in tech. Like I noticed, the industry is booming. Like they're offering jobs, well-paying jobs. It's not going anywhere, especially cybersecurity. You hear about cyber attacks like every day. So I was like, this is a good field for me to pivot into. But through my like research into that, I stumbled across like course careers. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. This offers like just a different avenue, a different route into tech, not necessarily doing like the developing and the coding like aspect of it. Cause I didn't even know what tech sales was prior to like stumbling across course careers.
Right.
So I was just like money do, went down a rabbit hole. Course careers videos, all the, like the testimonials. I watched all those interviews on every channel. And I was like, I can do this. Like it seems like something I can do. I found it very interesting. And that's what led me to doing the door-to-door sales, because I wanted to like position myself for that tech sales job. I knew I had to go out there and get the experience first so that, you know, I'd be a more appealing candidate.
How long did you do the door-to-door sales before your transition?
I did for like a few months, nothing too crazy. I got in and got out. I'll be real. I needed the experience. I just needed to like learn as much as I could as quickly as possible so that I could ultimately get a job in tech.
I think that I give you props for doing that. A lot of people, I mean, yes, you could go the route where you could just transition, take, you know, the tech sales bootcamp and whatnot. And by the way, tech sales bootcamp, Genira and I both took the same one. Course Careers, amazing, teaches you pretty much everything. If you ever want to sign up, just look at the link down below. But I think it's really smart that you because sales is like a very hard. It's a very demanding, high pressure, high blood pressure as well too. You could probably generate high blood pressure off of it by doing sales itself. And then for you to go one of the hardest types of sales, which is door to door, which is crazy because that's like a very old school way to do sales. I think that's so smart that you put yourself in that type of that world and having that type of dirty, like that nitty gritty type of sales. Because now you get into tech sales, you're like, this is nothing. Like I used to knock on, right. You're knocking on people's doors. Was it like you're doing it during summer? So I'm sure it was pretty hot
days, rainy days, had to have the like the poncho, umbrella, rain boots ready.
Right.
It was just it was a lot. And like you can't predict everything you're gonna encounter out there. You may catch somebody at a bad time. They don't want to talk to you. They're in a bad mood. You know, you get the rude people. You get everything, and you get like it's tough. Door-to-door sales is tough, but like I'll be real, if I can do it, I believe anyone could. You just have to have like the right mindset. Right. Because it definitely strengthens like your ability to handle rejection, given that you receive it face to face. It's a lot.
Yeah, I 100%. I was gonna say like that. Now you're on the phone, so much easier to handle the rejection because you don't have to walk away. It's a hang up and that's it, you know, completely different. So that's so awesome. See that? This is why you're a guest in my show, you know. So thank you so much for sharing that.
No, thank you for having me. I was really excited to do this with you.
Of course. You're like, all right, people that's watching, Genira has this very welcoming, engaging personality that right when you start talking, you're like, oh, I have to get to know who she is. So that's why, honestly, you're getting kudos right now. So, but from the time you finished the course, how long did it take for you, you know, to at least get your first round of interview? Anyways.
So I finished Course Careers. Well, I purchased the course in July. I finished like in mid-August in about like a few weeks because I ultimately did end up leaving the casino job. Like I was just fed up. I wanted to get out of that environment.
Yeah.
So, but like I think the week or like the 2 weeks that I had before starting my door-to-door job, it was just all Course Careers. Going in on that, finishing the curriculum, make sure I get the certificate. Shortly after that, I started applying to jobs immediately. I heard back from one recruiter, I believe like maybe a week after finishing. I ultimately didn't get moved to the next round. And then the company that ultimately hired me, I spoke to the recruiter at the first week in September.
Oh, okay. Wow. You got your interview pretty fast. Like, you know, you hear stories where it's like 2.5 months or whatnot, or 3 months. Yours is literally within a few weeks, which is amazing, by the way.
Thank you.
So what was your strategy on, I know you said you want to look into cybersecurity, but what was your strategy for searching for companies to apply for?
Yeah. So I had it like when I was started looking for jobs, like I was very like overwhelmed with like how I should go about it, right? Because people are like,
Right.
"Oh, make the spreadsheet." But what I wanted to do, like more than anything, was just make sure like I actually liked the product that the
Hmm.
company that I was applying for, like they sold. Because if I don't like the product or the software, if I can't relate to it, like why would I want to go that route?
Yeah.
I really did write out like physically, tangibly writ out everything that I wanted within like the job that,
Hmm.
like the salary. I wrote out like the PTO plan benefits, like all that. I made sure that I had it all written down in paper so that when applying, I already had the outline down, so I went about it just like how everyone else does, like job boards, um, applying on company sites, like that's huge for me. It worked in my favor, obviously,
Hmm.
thankfully. Yeah, so
So
just
let me kind of paraphrase that. Did you um, niche down to where I know you said cybersecurity,
okay.
but
Yeah.
yeah, did you look for like fintech,
Yeah.
med tech and whatnot? What was the industries that you went
So
towards niche down?
yeah, I believe I spoke to you about this when we had our one-on-one.
Hmm.
I given that I had like some background in finance, I was mostly looking at fintech companies. Um, but somehow I ended up at like a cybersecurity company, but I'm not
Which is
complaining.
great. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah, I'm
what you
not
want to
complaining.
do, anyways.
Yeah, yeah. No, but I was definitely trying to like find something that could relate to my background. So
Hmm.
that with something that would set me apart. Like I didn't want the experience that I had on my resume to be like, I guess, obsolete for the job position that I'm applying for. Like I was trying to like find some like something that aligned, basically.
No, that's understandable. So, what walk me through how your job application process looked like, because everyone's different. Like
Mhm.
what did you do?
So what I didn't do and like what I really like I heard constantly, I did not want to mass apply to companies. Like I didn't want to
Hmm.
have to submit like 100, 200, 300 applications. That sounds like insane. That's a very large amount. Like kudos to anyone that has the ability to do that, but
Right.
I know for me and my like mental and physical capacity, like that just was out of the question.
Hmm.
So I was just looking for like companies that either course careers like alum had already like, they currently work for.
Yeah.
Um I would look on like just different websites. Like I would niche down to even like company size, like trying to figure out like
Oh
what
yeah.
yeah, what company I'd feel like more comfortable with. I decided like medium size was like perfect for me personally.
Hmm.
Nothing too big. Um, so yeah, my process looked, I feel like most people, like I found my job on Ada. I'll be transparent. I found that job board on like a LinkedIn post. Um,
Hmm.
they from then on I applied on the company website. I always submit my applications with this cover letter. Like highly recommend everyone do that because if they're asking for it, I mean 9 times out of 10 if you do put it, you're already kind of putting yourself ahead because most people don't
Right.
want to take that extra step, right? Um,
Hmm.
I'd go on LinkedIn. I'd like the company's like follow the company's page, like a few of their posts, like react to it, even comment if you'd like. Connect with people who already work within that company as SDRs and AEs, like sales directors. Reach out to them, form connections, say, hey, my name's Genira. I'm interested in working for your company. Like, and ask them about their experience because, like, what do people like talking about more than themselves? So,
That's true.
just like building a connection.
So
Yeah,
funny.
yeah, just
Yeah.
building a connection with the people that already work there and see what their experience is like. Um, yeah, so that's what I'd recommend anybody do.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. Especially like the the one where you're saying to not mass apply. Uh, Definitely don't do that, because what I to just kind of piggyback what Janira was saying, what happens is when you start mass applying for a bunch of jobs, one, your outreach is not it doesn't get better, right? You
Mhm.
don't know what's working, what's not. So you can't start making it better and fixing it and whatnot. And then two, it gets to the point where you're miserable, right? You're looking for a
Yeah,
job, right?
you
And
really have
then
to be intentional. Like that's
right,
really you have to be intentional and you have to want to like set yourself apart from like the other 100 like 200 people that are also applying for the same position you want.
right, 100%. And
Yeah.
then, to also piggyback what Janira saying about the cover letter, 100%. So the best way to really make a great impression and to show how individual or what type of individual you are or person, is doing cover letter, because the resume brags about what you accomplish and what your duties are, but you could really kind of be creative in the cover letter, kind of like me just outreaching. Let's say I didn't know Genira, right? I could
Mhm.
just randomly outreach and be creative to reach out to her. So 100%, you're doing exactly what I've been preaching, and this is why you got a job. Seriously,
Yeah.
yeah. It's only because people may know the stats, but if you don't take action, you will not get anywhere. And Janira knew exactly the steps and she took the action. Don't sit on it, just keep doing. It could be a
Mhm.
process at times. So, out of all the outreach methods of you like reaching out to, the recruiters or whatnot, what out of all of them was the best way? Did you like message them,
Mhm.
email, or did you mentioned that you connect with some SDRs in those companies?
Mhm.
Did you go through them and then go to the hiring manager? Like, what was the process on that?
So I believe for the company that hired me, I feel like I did reach out. Actually, I don't even know if the recruiter was on the listing. Um,
Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
like I think I was just fortunate and blessed enough for them to like pull my application out and reach out to me.
Hmm.
Um, but for the company, like all the other applications I submitted, like it was just all through LinkedIn. I did send a few emails out
Hmm.
there just to see if whether or not I could get a response. I didn't, but I mean, it is what it is. I'd say just like do whatever it takes. Um,
Hmm.
like my friend Vic, who's I think maybe watching. Like I know
Yep. Shout out
he's gone.
Vic.
Yeah, he's been going in. He's getting in with the cold calling. So even go that route. Like it's so many ways to go about like landing that interview because that's really the first step towards getting into like tech. Do whatever it takes. Honestly, I was just fortunate enough and blessed that like my opportunity came pretty quickly, but everyone's journey looks different. So
Hmm.
um, that's all.
Right. And then for people who are just showing up right now, Janira was previously a door-to-door sales rep. And before that, she has, if you look at her resume, she was doing different things. But what she did do was she took the extra step to at least get in a sales role, to at least understand how that works and even generate that experience. And bam, after taking the same course that we both took, Course Careers, less than a month or just a few weeks, she landed this role. So she is literally proof that you can do it, right? If you do the right
Yeah.
thing. So I just want to let everyone know that's joining right now. So out of, when you did the interviews, how many rounds of interviews did you receive anyways and go through?
Well, you were there from the start, so you're already familiar with
I know.
how long
Yeah,
and long
yeah,
that
yeah.
process was. But
Yeah.
from the first recruiter call, I guess that's considered one. That's the first interview with the recruiter over the phone.
Hmm.
I met with I think the VP, the sales director. Um, then I met with the global sales director. Like so,
Yeah.
that's three. We're at three interviews. And then I had to top everything off with a presentation. It was how I would approach an ICP, or
Hmm.
yeah, like how would I approach like an ICP, like how would I go about like doing outreach. So I had to like come up with a presentation. Richard was kind enough one Sunday to like hang out with me and like brainstorm, which was very helpful. Thank you once again for that.
Of course.
Yeah, so I had a presentation, so that's four. And then I had like three button-up meetings or interviews, if you will. It was long. It was long, very
Jeez.
long, but I learned a lot about myself throughout the
Right.
process. So um definitely a learning experience.
What was the time frame on that? So you said it was
I'd
5
say,
rounds, but
yeah,
3, yeah, 3 at the end, which is
I would
crazy.
I would say it took about a month, maybe. Like just like a little bit over like a month. No, a little under a month maybe.
Yeah.
Because I started the process like September, the beginning of September, and today was my
Mhm.
first day, so about a month.
About 1 month, 5
Yeah,
rounds.
and
Wow.
yeah.
So how many, so you got 2, how many, all right, after you did, the course and you did the job applications, how many interviews did you get from company, or how many company interviews, like first rounds?
Just like after the just two. Just
Oh
two.
my
Yeah.
gosh. That is so amazing.
Yeah, just
That's
two.
crazy.
Yeah, because the first company I believe they decided not to move ahead with me because they wanted somebody that was already located in, I think, Florida,
Yeah.
which I understand, no big deal.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm just so blessed. Like I can't. That's the only like I can just that's I'm just so blessed. Like it's just crazy. It is.
Tell us, could you deep dive a little bit more about that presentation? Like what I
Sure.
know, so the viewers could
Yeah.
know. So if you don't know, sometimes since we're in sales roles, they will test your capabilities, and hopefully you took the boot camp itself and you understand the whole thought process of
Mhm.
the prospecting. So yeah, definitely show this is a real life scenario. Janira is
Mhm.
going to talk about what project she had to go through. Could you deep dive
Right.
on that?
Of course. So I had to do like a presentation. I had like up to 3 companies to select. And I was essentially like pretending or like acting as if I was already an SDR at the company.
Yeah.
So I just had to create a whole PowerPoint of like how I would structure my outreach, how I would like what buyer personas would I like reach out to, like the CFO, customer success manager, like just like using LinkedIn as a resource, like why I chose these people to reach out to. And I think you gave me the idea of like structuring like a mock email, which was like a really great. I think that definitely set it off for me. So it was just basically everything I learned in course careers. I had to then like apply it to like an actual company and then pretend as if I'm already working as an SDR and go about it that way. The presentation was meant to be like I think 30 minutes long. I
Mhm.
was a little nervous, so I feel like it was a little shorter than that, but it all worked out in the end.
No, I get you. Yeah, when you get nervous, you start talking fast and blah blah blah,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, you just kind
Mhm.
of get through it. No, that's
Yeah.
understandable. That's so awesome. No, it's I'm glad you mentioned how that project worked because I've heard stories and I've been able to help coach over 100 people, which is very fortunate, you know. And the question was like, tell me about your like, what's the interview process? I actually didn't have to do like a deep dive project there. They
Mhm.
did give me like they gave me a project, but I had to do it all. I had to do it right there on the spot.
Oh,
They're like,
wow.
here, yeah. So my project was a little bit different. Yours
Mhm.
was, I think it was 1 week, right? They gave you, or a few days or something like that, less than a
Yeah.
week,
Mhm.
right?
Like a little, yeah, like a week basically.
Yeah, mine was, here's the thing,
Mhm.
we're gonna have the interview in a few hours, and then
Wow.
they gave me feedback, right? So they
Mhm.
said that once we do the project, they're gonna give me feedback, and then I have to redo it again on the spot. So I that interview took longer because I was writing my responses, everything, you know, all while they're watching me on the spot. So
That's
yeah,
nerve-wracking.
I know it is, and it's kind of like getting tested, which is understandable, but right. But the reason why they do that is one on Genira's perspective, what those those hiring managers they're trying to see if you understand how to like prospect and what resources you have to use to find what you need to find. So it could be a contact,
Mhm.
what their pain points and whatnot. And then what they were doing for me was, besides, because I pretty much did kind of similar thing as Genera, but the other difference was they wanted to learn if I knew how to accept feedback and
Mm.
actually take that feedback and learn from it. So that's why
Okay.
they did not, because after the interview, after I got my job,
Mhm.
I asked them like, "Hey, why'd you do that for? Why'd you make me go through like a second time on the spot?" And that
Mhm.
was the reason why. You know, they wanted to see that. So I'm glad you mentioned that. So I know that was like the fourth. Was that the third or fourth round? I'm sorry, which round was
That
that?
I have to pull up my fingers to like even. That was
Okay,
technically the 4th round, and
fourth
I did
round.
the presentation in front of an enterprise account executive
Hmm.
and the 2 people I interviewed with prior.
I gotcha. So
Yeah.
you had three people. I only had two.
Yeah.
Wow, yours is like straight up pressure, huh?
It was, but I mean, everyone that I was like, working alongside with like during that entire process, like they were just so amazing. Like they didn't make me feel like too intimidated or like
Yeah.
they really did make me feel comfortable, which I did appreciate. which is why like I was excited and wanted to do my all for the presentation because just everyone I encountered from that point on just had been like really like nice people. So I was like, I would love to be able to work alongside them if
Right.
given the opportunity.
Did you get to meet them already, like the first day today?
Yeah, I met the team today online. I go into the office tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
I'll be in New York, so
That's there you go.
yeah,
You got to do what you got to do, right?
absolutely.
But the cool thing is all of this isn't it crazy to go through all those interview rounds and then now you got your job and you got to meet the team. It's like a
Hmm.
full circle, which
Hmm.
is
Hmm.
so insane. And it's due to it's like the testament to show like you kept going and bam, you made it. And it's crazy that I'm still shocked and I didn't even know this. This was your second company you applied for and you got
Yeah,
so
I'll
impressive.
be honest. Like, I feel like I applied to maybe like less than 30 like companies.
Oh my
Like
gosh,
I
what a ratio.
Yeah, like I said, I was truly blessed, like just blessed during the process. Like it's just crazy how everything unfolded.
Mhm.
Um it's just a wild. It's wild. Like I really made a lot of leaps. Like if you guys were there to listen to like where I've come from, like what I started doing. I was a COVID-19 contact tracer,
Yeah.
bookkeeper, then like working in the casino industry for a few months now, like look door to door. Now like yeah, just never give up on yourself. Like I think that's like what I would like to be an example of. Just don't give up on yourself. Like because there were times where I didn't know where I was headed. Like I'll be real. Like I didn't know what I was gonna do next. I didn't know what was in the cards for me. But just keep going. Just keep going.
That's so awesome. Uh we're going to get to that. See, we're going to get back to what everyone reach out to her by the way, all right, at the end. And we're going to get back to that. What was the most common questions you received during your interview?
I got actually wrote it down because I got a lot of tell me about yourself. And I wrote that one down because you'd be surprised by how many people like can't like just come up with something on the fly.
Mhm.
I'd recommend everybody at least practice that, have something written down for yourself to say, like, so that when you are asked that question, you're not caught off guard, because some people do
Yeah.
struggle with that one. So obviously tell me about yourself. What do you know what do you know about the company? Why sales? And then tell me about a time that you failed. How do you deal with rejection was a big one. And um and like what motivates you. So those were a few of the questions that I heard, I think either once or twice during my interviewing process.
During your time when you were answering those questions, did was one of your responses made you stand out, right? To where the
Mhm.
interviewer was like, "Whoa, that's a," like they
Yeah,
had that reaction.
Richard, you
And
already know.
which one was it?
You
Which one
already
was it, Nara?
know.
Tell
Wait, let
us,
me pull
tell
it up.
us, tell us.
Let me pull it up. It was, I think the one where I had to mention my mom. What was it?
Go, let's hear it.
I'm trying to
And
think about which one it was. Was it like why sales, right?
right.
Yeah, so it was like why sales, and like we talked about this during our one-on-one, and I just made it personal. Like instead of keeping it general and saying, "Oh, I like the career advancements, the career opportunities," um, house sales. Like I didn't keep it like surface level. Like me and Richard came up with a response, and we got real deep with it. And I was like, I want to get like why sales because like I want to be able to take care of my mother one day. Like
Right.
that lady has invested so much time into me. Like I don't want to get emotional, but like that Bally's valet put me through college, so I gotta give
Yeah.
back.
No, honestly, always pay back your mom and dad,
Yeah.
whoever's that's with you. 100%. The reason why I wanted you to mention that is
Yeah.
um it's all right. So you have to have a why, right?
Hmm.
For everyone's watching this. She is correct. The most generic answer you could give to that question, why sales, is career opportunities and making the money. But
Right.
remember, since it's a dog eat dog type of performance based role,
Hmm.
there has to be a little bit something more to kind of light the
Set you
fire,
apart. Yeah.
right, and set you apart to keep going. So I told Genira, I was like, because we started kind of customizing the answer, I asked her like, what was your response on that? And
Mhm.
she said
Yeah, I
career
said the
growth.
general. Yeah, I said the generic, like, oh, career
Right.
advancement, growth, all that opportunity. But
R-
yeah, it really does, like, when you can get like on a like, because people can relate to that. People can relate to you wanting to take care of your parents. People can relate to you, um, you know, your parents pour so much into you. Like, why wouldn't you want to like have a job that would be able to like allow you to like give that back to them, right? So a
Mhm.
lot of people can relate to that.
100%. I
Yeah.
always say that you want to. So remember, the people that are interviewing, they're humans too. So they're going
Mhm.
through their own personal problems. So if you could
Exactly.
kind of answer it to where they could relate, they're like, you're right. So if I could have said, and Generic could have said, I am in I have a sick mother, like I just got kids. I want to go to school because I want to be the first one to graduate from school, like whatever it is, right?
Mhm.
I want to be the person that breaks and create that generational wealth for my
Right.
family. So if you could get it personal, remember they're going through the same thing. And
Exactly.
it's kind of like when you're selling, you sell by emotions. That's,
Mhm.
by the way, like you always sell by emotions. And if you could sell yourself by emotions,
Mhm.
that's how you're going to get to the next step and stand out. So I'm glad that worked out. I keep preaching to
Yeah.
everyone, and Janeer's
Yeah.
a testament to it.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So like, let's say you would start all over.
Mhm.
Like, what would you do first now compared to like after you went through everything?
Mhm. Well, I would definitely start like applying to jobs like a little bit like sooner on like while in course careers. Like I'd say if you finish like at least like 70% of the course,
Mhm.
just go out there and start applying. Like it doesn't hurt to start looking at companies. Like I didn't even look too heavily into it once I had gotten the certificate, but like it really doesn't hurt to have a head start.
Yeah. I wish I did the same thing.
Mhm.
I've been telling one in my sessions, don't be afraid. Yes, they have the exam at the end, but do not be afraid to do it now, because if you look
Mhm.
at job postings on any job board in general, after that job postings listed, within like 10 minutes, you'll
Yeah.
probably see 100, 200 applicants instantly. So,
Yeah.
right, you got to think to yourself, like, okay, am I going to be left behind, or should I
Mhm.
start doing right now? The
Exactly.
main thing is optimize your resume and your profile and
I'd say
do
once you
what.
have that done, like start applying. You got the LinkedIn down because Course Careers goes into that very
100%.
thoroughly. Like it's definitely a great resource to use, even if you want to like optimize your LinkedIn and your resume. And
Mhm,
it doesn't help to have like because I feel like the community is just so like helpful. Like you could
mhm.
reach out to literally anybody and say, hey, like how did you go about this? Or like, could you take a look at my resume? Like, people are just so kind. And I know like I'm always open to like, if anyone has a question, like, please feel free to reach out. Or like, I've looked at people's resumes. Like, I don't mind giving feedback on that. Like, I just want to be able to give back to those because I know how much people have poured into me during my process.
So that's why everyone connect with her. All her links are down below. It's on the description. But yeah, it's true. Like everyone's so helpful. I
Mhm.
actually did the same thing as Janira. The community, I would say, is one of the most valuable things besides the course
Mhm.
itself, right? Is
Mhm.
because the willingness to answer any question. I mean, don't get me wrong, sometimes we can't answer right away, right?
Mhm.
But we will try to answer as much as we can.
Yeah.
And that's whoever that haven't responded back yet. I'm sorry. I will get to you. It's just I have a lot of things
Guys
going on.
busy. Does
Trying to be busy,
it all.
yeah. But yeah. So speaking of yourself, you got any projects going on right now? Like what's next for Genira?
Oh God, I would like to start coaching. Definitely would like to go that route. Because I love helping people. Like I've realized that just through like all the jobs I've had, like in some sense I've just been always like giving someone a helping hand. And I do enjoy that feeling. Not necessarily expecting anything in return, but just being able to like make some improvement in someone's life is always that's reward enough for me. Um content is something that Richard's been pushing me to get into. I'm going to do it. I did record something, but I say too much in the footage. So I was like, I can't, like, that's just not even, scrap it, start all over. But yeah, I just did it now.
You just said it.
I just did it now. But getting into content creation, I'm trying to be a little LinkedIn micro influencer. So it's a lot's in the works. A lot's definitely in the works. It's only the beginning. So I'm definitely excited for all that's to come.
By the way, she won't say it. I'll say it for you. She's trying to be one of the top speakers in LinkedIn.
Oh, right.
That is one of her goals. So let's try to help her get there. Right. She's proof that, all right, first of all, she knows exactly what she's doing. She did 30 applications. She got 2 interviews, and the second company she interviewed with, she landed a job. I mean, you can't say she didn't do it, or you can't also say she's not an expert. She knows exactly what she's doing, right? But yeah, tell us, hopefully, tell us like how we could reach you more. What social platforms are you on, by the way?
I got them all down there. I'm on LinkedIn mostly. I'm always like quick to respond on there. TikTok, haven't posted anything. I'm getting around to it, guys. YouTube, that too, getting around to it. Trying to work on my filler word, obliterating that from my speech pattern. I just did it now, but I'm all over. I'm on everything. I'm on everything. LinkedIn's probably like the fastest and easiest way to reach out to me, though. I can't get out of the habit of doing it. Keep saying but yeah, just
you're fine.
LinkedIn.
You're fine. That makes you who Genira is, right? That's you.
Yeah.
So, little trick: whenever you edit your videos, just cut it up. That's why there's editing, right? So don't even worry about it.
I'm trying to get like you, Richard. That's all.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. But when do you think you're going to start doing the coaching? I would love to have some of my people go to you as well. Like, when do you think you're going to start doing coaching?
I feel like I've already somewhat started it, like not like officially, because I've had people reach out to me, like I said, to, explain what I did, because I'm always transparent and clear. It really isn't rocket science. I do want to stress that. It's follow the blueprint. Like, people who have already like cracked the code, if you will, like ask them like what they did, like what steps, and they will outline it clearly, like, and plainly for you to follow. So I feel like I've already started doing like some type of coaching, but I haven't really put it out there officially. When can you start looking out for it? Let's shoot for next month.
I love it.
Let's shoot for next month.
I'm doing that on purpose. I'm trying to pressure you to do
it. So I can tell.
It's true, though. I told you before, like, I think, honestly, if you keep at it, how fast you were able to get in tech space. So imagine how fast you'll be able to start growing your following, and also how fast you could be able to help people, right? Start coaching people if you just be proactive about it. So I'm looking forward to more content from Genira Nurse, right? Hopefully she becomes that top speaker for LinkedIn, right?
It's got to happen. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. But yeah, I do want to say thank you so much for being a guest on my show. If you have more questions and you're too embarrassed to ask here, don't worry. Ask Genira. She will. Why not go towards her right now? Hit up her DMs on LinkedIn for the right reasons, by the way. But thank you so much, everyone. Thanks for being on the show, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you all for tuning in.